Go Eagles, baby. Go Eagles, man. Oh man, I that game. First, I have to let everyone know that I that I wasn't feeling well that night. So my son and my daughter and my wife, they went to go see the game over my children's godparents' house because I had a headache. I didn't want to be around a lot of people and everything like that. So it was, so I was watching it at the house pretty much, and I couldn't believe that that was happening because I expected it to be a high scoring game like we discussed in our last show, but I didn't expect it to be a blowout on our side. Just the way that the D line was going after Patrick Mahomes, I was in utter amazement. He was running for his life the whole game, and the score was 40-22, but the score was really 40-6. Like at the end of that game, they just scored those garbage points when we pulled our starters because there was no point in leaving them in.
Yeah. Tom Brady was the commentator. His first year as Fox, broadcaster on in the booth, and he called it the fact that the Eagles front four and how they're getting at Patrick Mahomes was just like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when his last championship, getting after Patrick Mahomes. You have the defense coordinator of the Eagles basically doing what Steve Spagnuolo did versus the Patriots as far as the front four getting after the quarterback as quickly as possible. Steve Spagnuolo has what's called a NASCAR package, which I wouldn't say revolutionized the defense, but it created a different wrinkle in defenses to where the fastest defenders are on the front four and the quarterback has no time to set and throw the ball. 6 sacks, one shy of tying the record in the Super Bowl. He had 2 turnovers, a pick 6. And I've never seen Patrick Mahomes that rattled.
No,
how did they do that?
They did a lot of studying. I believe you said this before. You believe they looked at film from that Tampa Bay game, and it was the faith and the belief in themselves. They believed that D line believed that offensive line could not stop them. They believed that they were better than that offensive line, and they showed it. They literally obliterated them. I mean, it was. If you was a Chief fan, it was hard to watch. I put on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
I said, "Would somebody get this middle school flag football team off the field?" I mean, it's like because it was bad.
Right.
It was bad. If it would have stayed 40-6, that'd have been worse than what Seattle beat Denver by. They beat them 40-8.
Yeah. Now you said 40-6. And the rest of the score, that was garbage time. The thing is, you had 2 totally different teams. The Chiefs were winning by the skin of their neck. Different play calls here and there, the refs here and there, winning by 3 points and less, game winners through the whole season. The Eagles were in dogfights. The Eagles were up and down. They, at one point, people were calling for the coach to get fired.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley was the, guiding light, running for over 2,000 yards. A.J. Brown, you had issues within the offense and the defense. But in the playoffs, they all came together and destroyed the teams they played against. One thing you have to know, Jalen Hurts is a quarterback.
He's a winner.
Yes. Super Bowl MVP.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a running quarterback. He's a quarterback.
Yes.
All the way from being benched and cut from Alabama for Tua Tagovailoa to going to Oklahoma and should have won the Heisman Trophy to the Eagles, where countless of people, talking heads, were saying he wasn't the right fit. He's not going to last in the league. Not just not last in Philadelphia, he won't last in the league. He's not a great quarterback. And then to have 2 record-setting Super Bowl appearances, now winning 1 and a Super Bowl MVP, he's solidified. You can't say nothing about him.
No, you can't say a dang on thing about him. I mean, because that is always going to be there. It's going to be Super Bowl champion, quarterback, Super Bowl MVP. You can't take it away from him. You can't at all. And don't let him win multiple Super Bowls. Don't let him do that. Don't let him win multiple Super Bowls and multiple Super Bowl MVPs. Then at that point, you're talking Hall of Fame. I mean, shoot, all it took for Eli to be mentioned in it was to beat Tom Brady twice and win 2 Super Bowl MVPs. So, man, and Eli will get in. He'll get into the Hall.
Yeah.
But he just proved a lot of naysayers wrong. All Jalen Hurts does is win. I mean, he wins. He's a winner, and he's not going to let you get him out of his game. He's like very. I said this on Facebook in the 76ers group. I said, Joel Embiid need to sit down and have a conversation with Jalen Hurts. And some guys was like, well, why? I was like, why? He showed you that in the game. Yeah. I was like, man, he's like, yo, look at that. Look at how he prepares. Look at what he does. Look at the focus, man. I mean, man, I'm telling you, that dude's getting free cheesesteaks forever in Philly.
Exactly. And when it comes to winning Super Bowls and everything, you made a great point. He could win multiple. Now, everyone's seeing the Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen situation, like the Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, right? But in actuality, it could be Patrick Mahomes against Jalen Hurts. They played each other twice. Both won one in the Super Bowl. This could be the start of a very great rivalry. Eagles-Chiefs. Now, you do have San Francisco in there. They play. Mm-hmm. You got the Bills. You have the Ravens. All these top teams going back and forth.
But there's one difference between them, and Deebo Samuels brought this up. He said they played the Chiefs twice in the Super Bowl and lost twice. Mm. They and these other teams like the Bills and the Ravens, they never beat Kansas City when it counts. Yeah. Joe Burrow did beat Patrick Mahomes in the AFC Championship game to get to the Super Bowl, but he didn't win that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of cuts him off from that. So it's Jalen Hurts right? Because to be a rival, you have to win too. So Patrick Mahomes he beat Jalen Hurts' team. Jalen Hurts beat his team. Now, is it going to ever be a rubber match? Probably so, because both teams. I mean, Kansas City just has to do some retooling, and Philly, if they re-sign some key guys, they'll both be back.
The thing is about Kansas City is, their offensive line was, the bend don't break type offensive line, and it broke. The dam finally broke, and they're gonna have to really do some major retooling. Not just that, but in the wide receiver position, because you have injuries there. Is Travis Kelce gonna stay? Is he gonna retire?
I don't think he's gonna retire.
He didn't play well. The thing is, there has to be some sort of youth movement there. Offensively, defensively, they're good. They have everything. Defensively, the offense is the one, because remember, we were comparing them to the Golden State Warriors at one point, where they would on third quarters just blow teams out. And now they're not even doing that. They're barely winning by 3 to 5 points. They get blown out by the Eagles. Andy Reid has a tall task.
Yeah,
if they want to get back.
They'll get back. They'll get back. I don't doubt Mahomes. I just don't doubt him. And you got to remember, with Tom Brady, I believe it was a 10-year span, a decade before he won that next Super Bowl. So, but I'm not going to doubt Mahomes because I've seen Mahomes do too many magnificent things to even doubt him. But you are correct that they do need to retool up. Every team does. I mean, I'll say the Eagles need to tune up. So it's hard to repeat. I mean, yes, Kansas City did repeat, but it's hard to do. I mean, ask teams that have repeated. It's difficult because now you have the target on your back, and can you stand up to that pressure? But you know what they say about pressure? Pressure makes diamonds. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Exactly. Moving on. Before we go to break, we're going to talk real quick about, on the other side as well, Super Bowl halftime show. It was polarizing, to say the least. Kendrick Lamar, the first solo hip hop artist to have this honor. And what took place was some people, either they didn't understand or they did understand and couldn't stand it. You have only 3 stars on the field: Kendrick Lamar, SZA, and Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson playing Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
Going against Kendrick while he's, playing his music, saying, "Oh, it's too ghetto. It's this, it's that." And then he goes with SZA and he says, "Yes, that's what we want." And it was a whole kind of metaphoric, symbolic about the country. The dancers are in red, white, and blue. They form the American flag around him, and how they look, on the backs, black people on the backs, America's on the backs of black people, things that, that whole symbolism and what we know about slavery and what goes on with that. All that was played out in this performance. You have the Kendrick and Drake beef played out. He even talked about, getting sued, if he played the song Not Like Us. And he played the song, called out Drake during the Super Bowl. Everybody went crazy, not just in the stands, but, after the fact. I think the main problem is the aftermath of the Super Bowl, of the halftime show, aftermath of the Super Bowl, where it's literally this huge debate on social media whether it was a good Super Bowl or not. there's publications saying it was a horrible Super Bowl, and it is to your interpretation. But if you didn't get it, what was he portraying? What was he trying to do? It wasn't for you. It was not for you. And we're going to go to break, come right back with more Super Bowl talk, halftime show, and what's going on with the Jets and Aaron Rodgers. Keep 1 Million show.
Yes, sir.
It's the Keep 1 Million show. I'm Dwayne.
Sean P.
And we're getting into the Super Bowl halftime. And this beat that I'm playing kind of also symbolizes what happened, because the set was made like a video game set. And people say it kind of reminded them of Squid Games.
Yeah.
And how Uncle Sam was calling the Great American Game, right? That could be used in more than one meaning. You're at the Super Bowl, the Great American Game, the Super Bowl, or the Great American Game is how we live our daily life as Americans. So, and as Black Americans, there's a different game that's played on us, or that we have to play. So if people watched the halftime show, didn't like it, go back, go on YouTube, go on whatever, and watch it again and see what was really said and how it was portrayed, because hip-hop is an art form, and an art form, it's not just in-your-face entertainment, or the entertainment that we're used to in the past few years, like, Usher, Rihanna, Beyonce, the past Super Bowl entertainers and halftime show. Art form is what you want to interpret it as, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, honestly, the halftime show, it represented creative hip hop. Kendrick did his thing. I mean, there was a lot of hate out there from the likes of Jason Whitlock. He resorted to name calling a lot. He kept calling Kendrick a midget, seeing this little midget running around yelling and stuff like that. I'm like, and then he said like Samuel L. Jackson pretty much plays, what's the guy named from Django, Steven from Django, but in a different way. I was just like, okay, I mean, but there's a lot of other people that thought it was an okay show, thought it was mid-tier, but I've seen bits and pieces because I watched the game, but I didn't, at halftime I went and did something else. That's not because I didn't like K-Dot, it's just something I had to do. And I do plan on watching it, but from what I hear, it was a good show, and I'm not mad at him. So I'm happy for him because he got to do it with Dr. Dre, and then he's doing it. He did it himself. He was the hottest act around, and I'm not gonna put that hate out there on him, even though he did receive that type of hate from a lot of people, including Lil Wayne. But I would ask Lil Wayne a question: do you really believe you could have did what Kendrick did?
Yeah.
Nah, he couldn't have.
When I was watching it, I thought the same thing. How would Lil Wayne do his performance? And then what songs? Because here's the thing. Every single halftime show, it's squeaky clean. Even Kendrick's, the songs, he edited all those songs, right? There wasn't, remember, all the way back to the Janet Jackson incident. Because of that, it's got to be squeaky clean. What 5 songs does Lil Wayne have that are squeaky clean?
I can't think of any. I mean, it's two of my favorite songs of his. One is every girl. That's not squeaky clean, and Millie. That's not squeaky clean. Go DJ, actually, 3 Favorite God. Go DJ. That's not even squeaky clean, you know.
Go DJ can be edited to be clean.
Yeah, it can be.
Lollipop.
Nah.
I mean, that was on the radio.
Yeah, but it's the content of it, though.
Right. I know he has a song deep in his bag about Katrina. He has the what's the song? A girl that he has a song where he's singing. Yeah, it's hard for me. I can't think of 2 Lil Wayne songs that are that clean. No. Yeah. So when people was arguing about that, it's like, well, what songs is he gonna play? And then on top of that, he had a show for WWE last year for WrestleMania, and it was horrible. It was so bad, people actually putting that on social media saying, oh, this is what y'all want from Lil Wayne at the Super Bowl? So I hope people don't do this when Super Bowl 60 comes up, which is in San Francisco.
Yeah.
You're not going to get E40. You're not going to get Mr. FAB. You're not going to get Too Short. They're not going to be there. So don't try it. Don't go on social media saying we want E40. No, that's not going to happen.
Look, the best thing to do is, if I was Wayne, he should have did this. If he did, maybe he did, but he should have did this. Should have been more congratulatory to Kendrick, but then do a post concert right after the Super Bowl. Do a post concert. You and the Hot Boys, and even try to involve No Limit in that. And do
right.
that, and that way it would have been that would have been your thing, and trust me, it would have popped off. I would say the same thing to them Bay artists. I if it was in Philly, I would say the same thing to the Philly artists. Do it because
Philly artists maybe only Questlove and the Roots. I say the Roots can do an amazing halftime show.
Maybe them and Will Smith together, but I was talking about a collective of like artists. I mean, but my whole point is, it's a way you can monetize it, and it's a way you can do it. Instead of being in your feelings and being emotional, talking about you're not gonna watch the game and stuff like that. Like, I'm sorry, dude. It just wasn't in the cards, man. It just wasn't, and I know it's hard with the ego and everything. It's hard. It's hard for some dudes to be like, to just say, I don't have it like that to do that type of show on that type of stage.
Right, that's true, and yeah, that could have been some kind of truce or something, because it seemed like it was a lot of hate towards Kendrick, and that wasn't called for, But the thing is, moving on to the next Super Bowl halftime show, you're not going to get any hip hop artist from the Bay doing a halftime performance. I don't even know who. I can't even think of who will do a halftime performance right now off the top of my head.
I mean, I can
Besides,
see.
No, not hip hop. Just anybody. Maybe Beyonce or again.
I can say maybe Carlos Santana. He's from the Bay. Mm-hmm. Maybe him.
Yeah.
They were more than likely to get him to do the national anthem because he did the national anthem for Golden State so years ago. They may get him to do something like that. He actually did a pretty awesome rendition of it on his guitar.
Right. Well, moving on.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is no longer a New York Jet.
Nope. Not
Came
at all.
on the New York Jets social media. They wished him luck in his endeavors. and the new head coach, the new general manager is moving on from Aaron Rodgers. The question is, who are they going to get? They have Tyrod Taylor under contract. Is he the bridge quarterback until they get another one? Will they get a free agent? Will they move up in the draft? Tennessee Titans have said they're open for business as far as the number one pick. Where do you see this going for the Jets?
They would give up a number one pick for Aaron Rodgers?
No. The thing is, the Titans have said they may trade down from the number one pick. The Jets are 7th, if I'm not mistaken, in the draft order. So they can possibly trade, not Aaron Rodgers, but trade. Well, matter of fact, thinking about it right now, there's rumors that, he may go to the Titans. He has a house in Tennessee in that area. So, that was a rumor before the season started. So
I didn't realize. I didn't know that until recently. They said he had a house in Nashville. I didn't know that. I was like, oh, okay. People talked about
a couple of years ago.
People talking about Vegas. I don't know about that. He's going to want to go to a team that can contend. I can't think of any right now that can contend that he could go to. I can't. Can you think of any?
No. When you look at Vegas, Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll can maybe pair up. Russell Wilson is also on his way out with the Steelers. Justin Fields, he's another free agent. He maybe the Jets may look at him or try to get him over there. But looking around the league, you have Will Levis over there in Tennessee. He's been there a couple seasons, hasn't turned out the way they wanted it to. They may stick with him until the contract is up. So I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to want to, say, mentor a quarterback right now. He's not that type. We've seen that plenty of times. He's actually said, after the whole Jordan Love situations, they're so close and everything. But was that even true? We know how prickly Aaron Rodgers is and how he's so far away from football at times that it's like, hey, it may be time for him to hang it up. He's a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yep, first ballot.
One of the greatest of all time. Just like a lot of quarterbacks, the end is a hard landing. So I would say he may should have retired before he went to the Jets, but it's time now. It's time.
I don't know if I was because he's not going to end his career on a Super Bowl win.
That won't happen.
That storybook, like what Peyton Manning did and John Elway, walk away from the game. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm be honest with you. That's why I want Brandon Graham to do so. Go out on the win. I wish Kelsey and Fletcher Cox could have still been here. To go out with a win, on a Super Bowl win, but that's not in the cards for Aaron Rodgers. Not right now, because I can see maybe possibly people talked about the Steelers. I was like, that's a possibility, but he's an aging quarterback, and they have Justin Fields. Why not concentrate on that?
Yeah, I think a lot of teams, especially with contracts and whatnot, you got to go younger. you got to go with the young quarterback. I think Justin Fields should stay with Pittsburgh.
Yeah, me too.
I can see Russell Wilson going to Vegas and, taking over that position. I can see Sam Darnold staying with Minnesota. And it gets to the musical chairs. Where does it land for Aaron Rodgers? And I don't see it landing for him. I see him losing the seat. And with that, I can see him retiring. I mean, he's not going to be a backup. He doesn't want to be a backup.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if he does, it's going to be on a team that may not be a winning team.
Yeah.
So, time to hang it up, Aaron. It's time to hang it up.
Yeah.
And we'll be back with more Keep 1 Million Show.
Yes, sir.
Keep 1 Million Show. I'm Dwayne.
Sean P.
The Hall of Fame. You have Sterling Sharp, Eric Allen, Jared Allen, and Antonio Gates.
Yeah. I'm surprised Gates didn't get in last year.
Yeah.
He has the. I want to say, doesn't he have the most receptions and yards and touchdowns for tight end, or somebody surpassed that up?
Tony Gonzalez had it, and then I think Travis Kelce is right there with it. I think
all right.
Him and Gonzalez.
Okay. Oh, so Gronk didn't break anything? Okay.
No.
Well, I mean, Gronk's going in too. He'll be in there. He'll be in there.
Yeah. How did you feel about the Hall of Fame class?
The Hall, I thought Luke Kuechly should have got in, but I believe Eric Allen was already. I thought Eric Allen was already in the Hall of Fame, and that surprised me. But he definitely was a really great corner in his prime, especially in Philly. He played for Philly and the Raiders. I mean, he was really good at what he did. And gotta remember he played in the 80s, 90s where it was just like rough. I mean, and he was the type of corner. He wasn't scared to come up and make that hit. He popped Herschel Walker before, so he wasn't scared to come up in there and make that hit. So glad to see him get in. And Antonio Gates. Yeah, I mean, he one of the greatest tight ends ever played the game. Jared Allen on defense, I've seen him play. Yeah, all four players deserve to be there. Even Sterling Sharp. I don't have a problem with that because those 7 years he played, he was arguably, they say he was arguably better than Jerry Rice. I mean, he was really that good, and I have no doubt in my mind if he wouldn't have got hurt and played 7 more years, decently injury free, oh man, his stats would have been crazy. But he only played for 7 years. So my question was my question is this setting a precedence for the Hall now, because you have wide receivers out there that you're like, yo, they have really good careers. I mean, Hines Ward out of Pittsburgh. I mean, I know there's one player still playing, but Wallace in Tampa Bay, you have people saying, oh, he's fringe. I'm like, what is it, 10 consecutive 1,000 yards receiving?
Yeah.
And if he breaks Jerry's record next year, which would be, he needs to do it again next year, but it needs to be consecutive. Right. If he does that, I'm like, man, he has a Super Bowl championship. And so if you let Sterling in, if Mike Williams was to say, you know what, I'm shutting it down today, as far as I'm concerned, he's a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
and what about
championship?
What about Andre Rison?
Right.
I mean, people like to say about Andre Rison is, oh well, he played 4 more years than Sterling did. But if you look at Andre Rison's 7 best years, they match up with Sterling, and they have identical stats. Mm-hmm. And Andre Rison did get a ring with the Packers, and he played a vital role in that team in that game for them to win. So I'm like, well, why not Andre Rison? Can somebody tell me why not? Besides, he played 4 more years than Sterling. Because what I'm starting to see, and once again, I believe Sterling. I'm okay with Sterling being there. I believe he's a Hall of Famer. But the question is, it's just a hall of people we like, because he's beloved. Sterling Sharp is beloved. I mean, they tried to do that to T.O. You see, T.O. should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And what did they do? They made him wait 3 years because, guess what? Because we don't like you. We don't like you, so we're gonna make you wait. And then people was mad at him because he did his own thing at his alma mater. I was like, well, was that petty? Yeah, T.O. is extremely petty. But I get why he did that. I get it. He's like, no, y'all didn't show me no love. They said, get over it. No, you get over it. I mean, the Hall of Fame, these Hall of Fames, especially the baseball and football, they get silly a lot of times. But I don't know. What do you think?
Well, baseball, very upset about their selection. They got it right. It's just how you don't have Ichiro Suzuki unanimous.
Oh, yeah,
That was insane.
I didn't
For
hear
him not to be unanimous.
I didn't hear. I know Stephen A. went off on it. I didn't listen to it, but a lot of people was like that.
The writers are really, how do I say, old. So they're traditionalists when it comes to that. I mean, you don't have that in the NFL or the NBA's. You're in the Hall of Fame, you're in. It's not about numbers or percentages or whatever. The thing is with the NFL is you're right. If one player gets in with a certain amount of stats, why isn't another player in? Or, this, that, and the third. Because it's 10 years they're eligible, and after that they're not eligible anymore until the Hall of Fame period.
You talking about baseball?
No, football.
Football?
It's like after they retire, 5 years and they're eligible.
Yeah, they're eligible.
Then it's like 10 years, like every year. Then after that they're not eligible no more, until like the old timers get in.
I would have to look that up.
Yeah.
I know with baseball, after a certain amount of time, it goes to the Veterans Committee.
Right. Yeah.
I know that with baseball because they talking about that with Bonds and Clemens. They don't have a lot of time left before it goes to the Veterans Committee.
Exactly.
Yeah. And personally, I believe both of them, both Roger Clemens and Bonds should be in there because Barry Bonds, before the so-called, I'm using air quotes because he never failed the test, the whole performance enhancing stuff.
Yeah.
He was a Hall of Famer. He had Hall of Fame numbers.
Yeah, before all that.
Before all that. And they're just keeping him out because of whatever. Because writers can be petty and everything. They make people wait. The NBA, I feel like the NBA, they just almost let anybody in. It's like
that's true.
It's like, you played a long time and you padded your stats, so you're like, honestly, and I hate to say that, I never looked at Tim Hardaway as a Hall of Famer. But he's in the Hall. I'm like, all right, okay, I'm gonna do it again. I did it a while ago. I'm gonna talk about on the show probably in the summer when there's less stuff going on. Talk about the different halls of fame and how difficult it is to get in and everything. So if it's like that, what about Bo Jackson? I mean,
right.
Bo Jackson did some phenomenal stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm saying this is the door that's being opened.
Right. Exactly.
It's like, okay.
Players that haven't been in the league so long.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Getting into some basketball here, we have Luka with the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
His game, 14 points in 25 minutes. Jimmy Butler has a couple games. He had 20 points one game. Pretty good game the next game. This, All-Star games coming up. This next stretch, the Lakers, Golden State. Golden State's kind of out of it. The Lakers are still, they're the 5th seed. Can you see them making a run with Luka?
They can make a run. They can make a run, but I'm not sure. I mean, they're not gonna win the chip. I got OKC coming out of the West. Boston coming out of the East. Boston might mess around and repeat, dude. Like they're just scary, and I can't stand Boston. And they're just scary. I mean, OKC has a chance to beat them, but man, Boston's just really good. Cleveland's really good as well.
Yeah.
So I can't see the Lakers making too much noise in the West. But if they're the number 5 seed, they could win a first round series.
Yeah. I got to get on you. I know you're on your high with the Eagles, but what's going on with the 76ers?
Oh, man.
Paul George, last game, 2 points in 37 minutes. Was that a horrible trade?
I wasn't a trade.
Horrible signing.
I'm not willing to call it a horrible signing. Not yet. I want to wait until next year when we're all three of them. This is what I say. I say shut
you
it.
Say that a lot. No, wait till next year. It's next year.
No, I say that a lot about the Sixers. I say that a lot.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Sixers. Yeah. It's next year.
Yeah, man, I sound like a Dallas fan. I sound like a Cowboys fan. Wait till next year. But I'm not saying it like we're going to win a championship. I'm saying it. I say, shut it down. Shut Paul George down. Shut Embiid down. Let Maxey run the show. Ball out, and then come back next year, retool, healthy. Embiid don't need to be doing no extracurriculars or Olympic. I know it's no Olympics, but you don't need to be doing nothing like that. Paul George either, and then let's see what it's like to have all three of them healthy. But that's I mean, but
you're saying that for a while.
Yeah.
Because they look horrible. They're out of the playoff picture altogether.
Oh yeah, man.
They're 20-34.
What they say? What did Coach Morris say back in the day when he played Indianapolis? He said playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Playoffs.
Exactly. Right, lucky to win a game. But yeah, he had one of the horrible games. I mean, you might as well call him Cardio P at this point. And another thing, with all this load management and everything, yeah, the trades got the NBA excited. Fans excited about the NBA, but did the load management kill the NBA? Is that one thing that really killed the NBA? Because of when you go watch the team, or you want to watch on TV or go to the game, and then your favorite player is sitting on the bench, and he most likely may or may not even be hurt. Has that impacted not just ratings, but just fans' perception of basketball right now?
I remember a while ago, it was this spot I used to go to. This dude I was cool with owned it. It was on Camelback. It was maybe about 20 minutes, about 25 minutes from my house, 25 minutes. We used to go there, and my wife and I had a homeboy I worked with. We go there. We said, "Hey, let's hook up and watch the." It was just me, and I went there with my I went to meet my homeboy up in there, and the Golden State Warriors were playing the San Antonio Spurs. This is when Golden State was in their prime when they run, and this is when San Antonio had Kawhi, and everybody was like looking. We was like, I don't think they had Duncan at the time. I think Duncan was retired by this time, but and I got there, and then we see them, the players come out, and then they say, "Oh, Kawhi is not playing." And I think Tony Parker wasn't playing, and we was like, and Golden State ended up pretty much blowing them out, and we was like, dude, we didn't come here. I mean, we came here to have a good time, eat, drink, and all that. But we wanted to see Kawhi. We wanted to see a game, and that's when I knew that this is ridiculous. And I blame Pop. I blame Pop for this low management stuff. Cause this was him doing that. You was like, you get a lot of people that pay for those expensive behind tickets. And it might be the only time they ever get a chance to see their favorite player play, and you want to sit them down because, for whatever reason. I remember old school player AC Green back in the day.
Yeah.
And I think he still has the record. He had you gotta look it up. I want to say it's like about 800 something plus games consecutive. He was like the Iron Man out there. He was. You don't have players like that anymore. Even Allen Iverson. I mean, he wouldn't take breaks. I mean, these guys take breaks, and it's not like it's helping them with injuries, because these dudes are still getting injured. Oh my goodness!
It's a shame. It's a shame, but we gotta end it right there. Thanks everybody for listening and watching on our Instagram page, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Keep 1 Million Show. We're here every Thursday night, 7 to 9 p.m. on Desert Soul Media. Please check us out next Thursday.
Yes, sir.
And our website, keep1millionshow.com. We're going to update that a lot sooner. I'm Dwayne.
Sean P.
We'll be back next week.
Yes,
Please
sir.
keep it locked right here. It's Keep 1 Million Show.